Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at a different kind of ship. One of my personal favorites. It is the Grand Hotel, or more officially known as the Battleship Hoche. This ship looks and feels like it is the most steampunk vessel to ever steam breakaway out of a alternative Jules Verne universe. It looks exotic. It's just a feast for the eyes. And it was an absolute nightmare for the French Admiralty and indeed for its crew. This ship is interesting because it does incorporate a lot of ideas of late 19th century naval thought. And in the case of our dear darling Hoche, they weren't that successful. Indeed, this towering superstructure gave it the nickname of the Grand Hotel, Le Grand Hotel. In terms of basic statistics, Hoche's numbers were as follows. The ship weighed 10,990 tons, was 102.85 meters long, which roughly translates to 337 feet. It had a beam of 20.22 meters, which is roughly 66 feet, and had a draft of 8.3 meters, which was roughly 27 feet. It was twin propelled with a top speed of 16.5 knots and a crew of 611 unfortunate souls that were probably hoping, please don't roll over and capsize, thank you very much. The Hoche represented the ideas of the time, a low-hulled battleship with an extensive tumble home to try and avoid plunging fire, and of course with extensive guns to make sure that it could fire further than its enemy. Unfortunately, a lot of these incorporations built up the superstructure to give the ship a very dangerous center of gravity, which meant that the ship was not the steadiest. This was partially resolved through a refit which cut down some of the superstructure and took off the very thick mainmast, which you can see up here. But still, even when the Hoche would fire a broadside, it would still be an interesting experience. This ship has been covered from a more technical perspective in other channels. I'm sure Drakenfall has an episode on it. Although if you do wish to read about the evolution of the Hoche and other battleships of its era, the annual warship bookazine, if we can call it that, as in Warship 2024, 2024, 2026, etc., 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 they have articles about the Hoche, and they explain its design evolution, ideas, and its ultimate fate, which, if you're interested to know, after about a decade or so in service, the ship was relegated to being a second-tier warship, and then after its guns were taken away, the hulk was used as a target ship and ultimately sunk in 1913. It is one of those ships that just needs to be seen to be believed, and certainly represents a very interesting point of time. So, I would encourage you all to go read up more about the Hoche, the French Navy, and all the various attempts at creating an effective battleship during the late 18th century. So, take the Hoche and sail away.